So we'll get into it today. Today's presentation is over the seven-figure team training. I've spent millions of dollars on my own teams across multiple businesses over the past 7 years, doing really hard work on these companies. And I'm just going to give you the sauce in this training, if that sounds good to you guys. I'm also going to be sharing the value chain, the most important framework to know in business. It's going to help simplify business a lot for you if you guys haven't gone through it or haven't gone through it recently. And also, I'm going to show you a little workflow that I just created on Miro for our team of how we move through the value chain, how we move a stranger to purchasing a product and going into one of our offers. So I think that would be super valuable. If this is one of the first calls that you guys have been here with me, you don't know me, Andrew Cruzy. I've been in the online entrepreneur space for the past 7 years, worked with some really awesome people in the coaching and agency industry. Cole Gordon started with us in Tribe Buyers, a company that I sold in 2021. He went from having no audience to building a huge audience and then creating a $30 million sales agency. We've also worked with cool people like John Whiting, Jeff Miller, Bastian Slott, a few more 8-figure entrepreneurs. And we've worked with over 3,000 clients, helped over 1,000 scale past 6 figures and 100 scale past 7 and 8 figures. I've been doing this a while and I freaking love it. Inside of Masters of Fate and Masters of Business, we mix the business side and the business systems with also the self side and the programming that we need to have as 7-figure entrepreneurs, and building that programming within ourselves so we can become better leaders for a team, for our market, all of that good stuff. So cool. Without further ado, we'll hop into it. I'll send you over this document as well. But this is the 7-figure team workshop. And the first thing that I want to start with is the 3 stages of scaling a business. So in really simple terms, and complexity is the enemy of execution. So in your market and your offers and your trainings, make sure everything is simple. So there are 3 levels to scaling. And I was on a podcast with Cole Gordon about a year ago, and he shared this framework with me, and it's been really helpful to share with clients and to the market and all of that. The first step in scaling is first making yourself rich. If you're just starting out, if you don't have a good base of money, I recommend not following your passion. Do not follow your passion. Most people don't even know what their passion actually is. What you want to do is find something you really enjoy doing, and that is an avenue to making money. We first need to have external freedom before we can have all the internal freedom in the world. So if if we're constantly worried about money, it's really hard to tap into soul and into ourselves and into creating new, unique, amazing things in this world if we're constantly worried about money. So we do both at the same time, but we need to make ourselves rich first. So with that phase, it's about creating the offer, shaking up the marketplace, shaking up sales, all of that good stuff, right? So once you start to nail down your offer, your marketing, your sales, you want to make your clients rich. So what this means is optimizing your offers and optimizing the delivery of your offers. So it becomes like a conveyor belt. You can create predictable results inside of your program or your service through things being systemized inside of delivery, right? Whether that is, when I say make your clients rich, if you're doing a workout program, just making sure that the results are predictable and streamlined, right? Are you guys with me? Raise hands here. Does that make sense for the first 2 points? Awesome. Then you want to make your team rich. The ultimate leverage in business is OPW, other people's work, right? And we can't get the best team members, we can't get the best A players if we don't have an inspiring vision for our business and what we're actually creating in this world, right? And we can't do it if we don't have capital, if we don't have money. But at this phase, once you've made yourself rich, you've made your clients rich, you should start refining your vision and what you're actually bringing in this world. And you should have capital to invest into team members, right? So there are 3 levels to scaling. First, make yourself rich, make your clients rich, then make your team rich. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me there? Okay, awesome. So in terms of building $1 million profit per year business, I've broken it down into 5 phases. And there are different focuses at each phase. So our first phase is artist phase. This is when we're making ourselves rich. And it's all about shaking up the marketplace, generating as many leads as possible, creating one solid offer, and it's a lot of fucking hard work. There's no way about it. There's no simple way, or there's no easy way to get from 0 to 10K. We've got to do things differently if we've never been to 10K before, and focus on one offer, one lead generation source, and one nurture source, and one conversion mechanism to get past 10K. If you keep things simple here, it's more about eliminating the other bullshit that we're doing and focusing on the things that are actually moving the needle the most, the 80-20 principle with scaling past 10K. Also, it's about being around other people that are doing it and having the mindset and the energy to fulfill it. Back in 2017, I was just going into all the Facebook groups, all the YouTube videos, and just was that prototypical freebie seeker. And then it wasn't until I invested into myself into Ty Lopez's program, the SMMA course. I remember I was $82,000 in student loan debt. I had $600 to my name. I was shitting my pants when I was investing on my credit card. And I did it, and I didn't get a client for 6 months. But I had a community that had my back. I had a roadmap. His course was kind of shitty, but I had somewhat of a roadmap to actually make that money. And then I invested into another course, Dan Henry's program, and that's when things started to take off. It was better roadmap, better community, all of that stuff. And I wouldn't be here today without investing into those programs. And then I invested into a 10K coaching program. Then I invested into Scott Olford's $100,000 Project Nuclear Mastermind. And it was just different inputs giving me different outputs. And I'm a big proponent of us investing into ourselves. I've invested over $500,000 into coaching and mentorship. And every great person had or has a coach. So if think about Michael Jordan, he wouldn't be where he was at without his fitness coaches and his basketball coaches and all of that. Tony Robbins is coach for Bill Clinton. Everybody has an amazing coach at their back, right? Even if we don't see them. So coach and mentor and community. So artist phase, going from 0 to 10K, shaking up the marketplace and selling. Then in builder phase here, 10 to 50K, a lot of people go through the income roller coaster in the builder phase because they are starting to get clients and then they're thrust into delivery and they're not systemizing delivery and making it easier on themselves. So they lose sight of top of funnel and getting new leads in and new sales and all of that. So the key in builder phase is to start systemizing delivery, getting things off your plate. And it usually comes down to refining the offers so we're not over promising as much inside of builder phase. We're going to be talking about who to hire in artist and builder phase and a little bit of systemizer phase here. So stay around for that. We're getting into the hiring order. Is this making sense so far? Raise the hands here. Cool. Sweet. Before we get into systemizer, what are you guys taking away from this? If you can put it into the chat here. Hard to find the right groups. Yes. Surround yourself with others who are playing big, 100%. Just expands possibilities. We can't be what we can't see. And when I was shitting my pants when I was investing in Scott Olford's $100,000 mastermind, and then I showed up to the first event, and there were 8-figure earners in there, and I was like, damn, I just made my first 50K month. Like, I'm the dumbest person in the room. And I learned so much from them. One of them being one framework being the value chain that I'm going to share with you guys here. Love the roadmap, big picture before individual tactics. Love it, Michael. Sweet. Will, what are you taking away? Heather, where are you taking away? Rick, thanks for being here. Joshua, Harley, pop it in the chat. High performers need to have a team of coaches, 100%. Love it. Cool. So builder phase, we talked about the income roller coaster and refining delivery, all of that stuff. Systemizer phase is exactly what it sounds like. Here, we want to start creating the systems for the entire company. And I'm going to share with you guys the value chain that's going to make it really simple for you guys to make systems. And here, we need to see the data for the systems. We need to have the tools in place. We need to start putting people into the right section of the value chain and have them own that part. And we also need to start developing really good processes that can be duplicatable for each part of the value chain to scale out of systemizer phase. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Okay. Business owner, most people fail to scale out a business owner phase because they don't have enough brains on their team. At this phase, when we're getting past 7 figures and we want to scale to multiple 7 figures, if people have hired too many hands on their team where they don't have anybody to delegate thinking to, then they're probably going to stop in business owner phase and not scale out of it. The key is to have 1 to 2 brains inside when you're at business owner phase to scale to board member phase. So for example, I hired Avery Ford in Tribe of Buyers, and he was the brains of delivery. He helped us create content, delegate to the other fulfillment coaches, and he took care of the clients. And I could just chip in when I needed to chip in. So that part of the value chain, I didn't have to think about it. He was the brains behind it, right? Does that example make sense? Cool. Awesome. And then board member phase, at this point, you should be profiting over 33%. So you should be over $1 million profit per year in this board member phase. So that's the goal of this, just to give you a roadmap to $1 million profit per year. Cool? Sweet. And as business owners, our scorecard are our profit and loss statements that we're getting at least every single month, and knowing what your profit margins are. It's kind of stupid to do all this work if we're not making profit, right? If we're talking about another company, like a tech company where we're not profiting and it's being built to be sold, it's different. But inside of coaching and agency and that sort of stuff, these are the recommended profit margins at each phase. So if you're 0 to 10K in artist phase, having at least 80 to 90% profit. So inside of this phase, it's about building up cash flow, and it's a lot of hard freaking work, and there's almost no leverage. And that's totally okay, because we're building up cash flow and capital, which is a form of leverage, so we can invest into team members to form leverage, right? Then we have builder phase. In this phase, we're hiring some more team members. Our profit margins are going down a little bit, but we're making more revenue, more money, so that's okay. And overall profit is higher, just margins are lower. So in this phase, in builder phase, 10 to 50K, we want to be around 60 to 70% profit margins here. And then systemizer phase, we want to be around 40 to 60% profit when we're around 50 to 100K per month. And then when we're in business owner and board member phase, really healthy profit margins in these phases is 30 to 40%. Really healthy. So in Tribe of Buyers, we were doing 325 to 350K per month, and we were profiting about 30 to 40%. I talked to one of the head CFOs in the coaching industry. His name is slipping my mind right now. But I was looking at everybody else like crushing it, thinking they were doing much better than me. Can we relate to that? And he looked at my numbers and he's like, dude, you're doing great. Most of these coaches that I'm looking at, like at your stage, are profiting like 10 to 15% max. Some of them are going under. And I'm like, no fucking way. So 30 to 40% when you're doing 100, 300K per month or more is really, really healthy profit margins. So just so you guys know that. Cool. So what are you guys taking away from this so far before we go into the actual hires here and into the business value chain? Lydia, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And you guys can smile. Smiling's my favorite, and it makes us feel better. So cool. Let's get one takeaway. Michael, Renee, Will.
Yeah, in my case, Andrew, I relate to being an artist because I've been doing the journey for 3 years, and I've been doing most of the delivery, market, and selling by my own, right? And when it's time to outsource people with ads or funnels, just take a percentage of the pie and just give it to them. But I stay with 80% profit. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the big thing to scale out of that is building up your audience. It's about moving traffic that we don't own to traffic that we do own. And back in Tribe Buyers 2017, 2018, when I was growing my Facebook group for 6 months, I just got hyper obsessed of moving people from other Facebook groups into my Facebook group, and paid off for the long run. So how much attention can we actually own? Like, it's the new gold, right? In business is the attention, right? So yeah, and as we scale, other things come up. So we need to use leverage and use systems and use team members and other people's work so that we can make sure that our business turns into a well-oiled machine. And we don't lose sight of top of funnel and moving traffic that we don't own to traffic that we do own. Does that make sense? Cool. And Chad, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. I think the best next thing before we go into the hiring orders, so this makes sense, is going into the business value chain. So the first mastermind I went to with Scott Olford's Project Nuclear, there was this dude named Dimitri, who I'm still really good friends with to today. And he shared this framework with us, the business value chain, where I was like, wow, that just simplified the crap out of business for me. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys here. So put a 1 in the chat if you've already seen the business value chain, and basically make your decisions based off of it, and put a 2 in the chat if this is new for you. Love to get some feedback here. Awesome. Header, Renee, this is perfect. I love it. It's going to change your life. Harley, sweet. Cool. Sweet. So business can be hard, but it's also very simple. So when we break down business into just the value chain here, it simplifies the crap out of it for us. We're just moving a stranger, somebody that doesn't know us, to a raving fan of our business, moving them from them having awareness of us to generating them as a lead, to presenting the sales opportunity, to them enrolling and fulfilling for them, like fulfilling on the promise of the offer, to generating an upsell, referral, and testimonial. So that is considered a raving fan, upsell, referral, testimonial, and it increases customer lifetime value when we get more upsells, recommitments, referrals, and testimonials, right? So it all starts with the offer. What are we doing in exchange for money? What is our product market fit? How are we moving somebody from their problems, their pain, to the promise their desired results, right? So offer in a nutshell, we have more trainings inside of it for this inside the 7-Figure Entrepreneur. So then when we know our offer, we know our messaging, where are we getting awareness? Where are we getting new eyeballs on our stuff and us, right? So for example, this could be YouTube organic, creating viral content to get more new eyeballs from people searching on YouTube. It could be doing podcasts and getting on other podcasts to get new eyeballs. It could be running ads on any of the platforms. It could be posting in other Facebook groups. It could be joining other programs and getting in front of other people that are paying money that might pay you money, right? We're just thinking about how are we generating awareness of ourselves and our offers, right? And in each section here, think about how are we doing this? Who is responsible for this? What are the numbers we need to track? And then what are the processes we need to put in place to make sure this is done effectively over and over and over and over again? Does that make sense? Cool. So the business value chain starts with awareness. Are we getting new eyeballs, right? The first 6 months of growing my Facebook group, I was just thinking, how can I go into other Facebook groups and move them over to my Facebook group? And I was generating a lot of awareness by posting in other groups, right? And then I set up my personal profile funnel. So I had a link to my Facebook group on my personal profile. So somebody would hit my post in the other group, they would add me as a friend, would generate them as a lead so I could market to them over and over and over without having to pay for it. And then they would also join my group. So I became a little bit more omnipresent to them on Facebook, right? And with lead generation, this can be number of new email subscribers, number of new text messages, number of new Skool members, number of new Facebook group members, new friends on Facebook, number of new YouTube subscribers, basically getting them on a list so you can market to them over and over and over without having to pay for it, right? So then we need to present the sales opportunity. So number of book calls, conversion rates, revenue generated, all that stuff would fall under this category right here. So we got them onto a list. Now, how are we converting them into a sale, right? And some people use webinars, some people use VSLs, some people use a mix of these things. They use setters, all of that to book in a call and then sell, right? Then when somebody joins your service or joins your program, we need to fulfill. We need to move somebody from paying us money to getting what we actually promised for them. And inside of the 7-Figure Entrepreneur course, we have a video on the 3 stages of client delivery that's really freaking good, where I show checklists, the systems, like what our courses look like, how we check in with clients, all of that to make sure that they get the promised result, right? And during that process, we also want to generate referrals, get testimonials, get upsells and recommitments. Because when we're upselling a client, then our customer lifetime value moves up. If we're getting referrals from a client, then we're making more per customer with our customer lifetime value. If we're getting testimonials, we can use that in our marketing more and sell more. If we're getting recommitments, then our customer lifetime value is increasing as well, right? So for each of these sections in the business value chain, we want to identify our bottleneck in our business right now, hyper focus on that bottleneck, and then we move on to the next bottleneck because we always have bottlenecks in business because we're always trying to grow, right? So if your bottleneck is awareness right now, think about how you're generating awareness right now and what do you need to improve? Do you need to improve the processes Do you need to open up a new awareness channel? Do you need to get on more podcasts and create the process for that? Whatever it is, identify the bottleneck in your business, and then fix that bottleneck, and then you move on to the next one, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. Sweet. So it's a business value chain in a nutshell. Now, I just created this today. I was refining our business value chain and what we're actually doing for it. So our business value chain right here, I love organic. Like, I'm not a big proponent of paid advertising. I'm super happy with what I'm doing right now, and I don't need to scale to the moon with paid advertising. I want to refine our processes for getting our clients results and make sure that's really dialed in and get the team in place before we really scale to the moon, right? And in the value chain, this is how we're getting awareness. We're setting up partnerships, we're posting in other groups, we're creating viral content. It's increasing our YouTube list, increasing our Instagram list, and all that stuff. We're posting in other groups. They're going to my personal profile, right? And then going to the 7-figure entrepreneur community. And then setting up partnerships. So referral partners, and then workshop partners. So they're promoting the 7-figure entrepreneur community and then driving them there, right? So then we're generating them as a lead right here. And they also, their phone number and their email goes into Go High Level. So we also become omnipresent with that. And then we have the 7-figure scaling session call, which is a triage call to build out a roadmap for them. And if they want to implement that by themselves, that's totally their MO. If they want our help to scale past 7 figures, then we present the sales opportunity for our different offers here. So the Masters of Fate Brotherhood, Empower Her Sisterhood, or Masters of Business, right? So we're going from awareness to lead generation to sales opportunity to fulfillment, upsell, referral. And it's pretty simple, right? Does that make sense? Cool. Sweet. So now you know the value chain, you know how it kind of works together right here. And this is our current value chain. And then what we're all here for is the team workshop and hiring. So I'm going to pause there and have you guys share what was the biggest thing you took away from the value chain. Not all at once. Renee, Michael, Will?
So, well, I think I have to start again. So in my case, Andrew, for my offer, I knew exactly the message is for those type of people, create awareness and towards the pain, towards the pleasure. I mean, more pain than pleasure, but I mean, of just trying to not just make posts, because trying to market in Facebook, some people confuse marketing with posting, right? And the thing is, with marketing, you need to market with leverage. In my case, I post in some groups, right, to get leverage, attention, and awareness in what I'm actually doing. No promoting, of course, but what I'm actually doing and what I'm actually switching with my offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to that point, most times when we're starting with something new, it comes down to the messaging and knowing how we're attracting our ideal client. The $1 million messaging sequence is super helpful with that. So if you haven't gone through that video yet inside of the 7-figure roadmap course, that will really help with content production, mapping out what your offer actually is, what videos you should have in your coaching offer. The $1 million messaging sequence is super valuable. So check that out. Cool. And sometimes it's just not a product market fit, right? Like the big reason why I keep bringing him up, but the big reason why Cole Gordon was so successful because it was a perfect product market fit. Like, what did the coaching and agency industries need? They needed more setters back in 2019. So when I was working with him, we started with a sales course and coaching program, and then we transitioned to helping entrepreneurs or coaches and agency owners that were doing over six figures already build out their sales teams. And then he started to transition to training setters and salespeople and then placing those people done for you. So it was just a perfect product market fit. So the more that we can think about who's the ideal client we're looking to serve and making sure that that pain point, we're helping them solve that pain point and it's a need in the marketplace, it saves us a hell of a lot of headaches down the line, right? So hope that makes sense. Yes, Renee, thanks for sharing and thanks for your vulnerability. Going through the $1 million messaging sequence and telling your own story to yourself over and over and over, and asking your clients that you've worked with the 4 Ryan Levasque questions is really powerful. So what's my number one goal? What's my number one roadblock getting in the way of achieving that goal? What's my number one fear? And what's the number one thing I want to learn? If you ask those questions with all of your new clients, it will pull out the words that they say, what their number one goal is, their number one roadblock, their number one fear, their number one thing they want to learn. And then we use their tribal language in our marketing and in our messaging because it's so much more powerful than us thinking we know what they need, right? So I hope that helps. Cool. I love it. Sweet. Chad, hope you're getting a lot from this. Joshua, hope you're getting a lot from this. So the hiring order, 2 reasons why businesses go under. Number 1, taxes. They don't save for taxes. Number 2, they do not hire, onboard, train, and retain their team members effectively. And they, where most people screw up is they hire fast and fire slow, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do when it comes to hiring. You want to hire slow and fire fast, right? So in terms of retaining those profit margins that we talked about earlier, this is my recommended hiring order. So towards the end of artist phase, 0 to 10K, you want to hire a part-time virtual assistant. This is your right-hand person that you just get stuff off your plate and it just goes to them, whether that's chopping up a video or reaching out to a specific client for something. That's kind of your first line of defense. Just somebody that is hardworking, that can figure it out, that can use ChatGPT, Google, YouTube, and figure out the answers. My right hand is Maiko on our team. We've been working together for 2.5 years, and she is absolutely incredible. I'm talking to her all day, every day, saying, hey, can you take this off my plate? Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Shooting her Loom videos, all that stuff. And it's the ultimate time saver. So the first hire you want is a virtual assistant or executive assistant, whatever you call them. And this is just a person, you think of something to get off your plate, you just get it off your plate. Shoot over a Loom video, get it off your plate, right? And then when you're in builder phase, you want to move your virtual assistant to full time. They might start 10, 20 hours, but in builder phase, if they're good, move them full time. Also, to help you with delivery, you want to hire a part-time client delivery support specialist. So getting some of the delivery off your plate, somebody helping you with that, 10, 20 hours per week. And then you also want to hire a full-time setter closer. I really don't like having salespeople. I never have salespeople on my team that are only part-time. Those are the main revenue drivers of your business. So I recommend full-time setter closer. First one that I hired was, his name was Grant Eilertson, great dude. And he set some of the calls inside of our Facebook group, and he took some of those calls as well. And he set some calls with me. It was a little messy at the beginning, but then we moved him to full-time closer and we put setters underneath him. So does that make sense? Cool. Then systemizer phase. Move client delivery support specialist to full-time. And then make sure you have a full-time closer that's just a savage. So I hired Mitchell Miles next for closing. And he took our business to a whole nother level. And then he ended up going to Cole Gordon's program. And then I hired Marco Cortezi, who closed $1 million per year. And he was just freaking amazing. And having those really awesome salespeople, especially during systemizer phase, that will take your business to the next level. Then in systemizer phase, being between 50, 100K per month, we want to have 2 to 3 full-time setters on our team that can book calls. I would say 1 full-time virtual assistant and 1 part-time virtual assistant. Right now for us, we have Maiko, and then we have Kenneth, who does some of our video, chopping up the videos, posting on YouTube, posting our reels, that sort of stuff. And then part-time marketing support towards the end of this. So you want to own sales and marketing because those are 2 skill sets to work on your influence and persuasion that makes you a better leader as you grow. A lot of people have resistance around sales, but it's the number 1 skill set you can grow to be a better leader as you grow your company, right? End of systemizer phase, you might want to hire some part-time delivery staff, coaches, that sort of stuff, to get some more stuff off your plate. I won't go too deep into the business owner phase, but just know that's there. And then the end of business owner phase, that's there as well. Hiring on those brains towards inside of the business owner phase, right? 100K to 300K per month. Cool. Does that make sense? All right. So virtual assistants. This is the first person that you hire. It's somebody who can take shit off your plate, right? Hire somebody who's absurdly hardworking, communicative, and has a knack for figuring shit out using Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, that sort of stuff. What we found, the ideal locations for a virtual assistant is the Philippines, Argentina, or Venezuela. They have a really strong culture of hard work, and it's fairly cheap labor. Maiko is from the Philippines. She is awesome. I just bumped up her salary over the past year, and I just love working with her, and she's so hardworking and so amazing and actually super funny. So another hiring principle that I learned from Ray Dalio is if I won't work with somebody for a lifetime, I won't work with them for a day. Be ruthless with your hiring and do not accept anything less. Your business is a living organism, and we don't, pardon the language, but we don't want to parasite on our living organism to grow our business, right? So be ruthless in your hiring and your standards around hiring. And sourcing, in my opinions, referrals are always best. So asking your network of the best person to hire for this position, that's where we find the majority of our team members. That's why I joined so many masterminds, coaching programs, is because I have a really strong network of people that I can go back to and say, hey, I'm looking for a new sales guy. I'm looking for these requirements. Who do you know? And then I always have people, and usually the best people, and I don't have to sort through a crap ton of applications, right? But if you do go the internet route, Fiverr, Upwork, Guru, those sorts of things. And you might go through a lot of assistants before you find the one. I went through 12 assistants before I found Maiko, and now we've been working together for 2.5 years now. Cool, makes sense? You guys following me? Cool. So client support specialists. These are people that support your clients and the communities with getting the promised result. So whether you're agency or whether you are in coaching, this is just somebody that can get shit off your plate when it comes to delivery. Hire somebody with great communication skills. And also, this is huge, persuasion and influence skills. It's not just about being a buddy coach and that sort of stuff. We want coaches that are really good with influence and persuasion. Sometimes it's a salesperson that wants to move into more of a coaching role. Those are typically the best. Because we need to influence somebody, especially in the coaching industry, influence them into a new vision of their life, right? And if your coaches aren't good with influence and persuasion, they're not going to be able to do that, and they're not going to be able to generate more referrals, upsells, and testimonials, right? Ideal locations, I recommend domestic, not international. Make sure that they have good verbal skills, all of that. Average pay starting out $15 to $30 per hour, which is typically on the low end, but you can get by with that when you're scaling your business. And sourcing, if you're a coach, bring in someone who has already been through your programs. That's typically the best. If you're an agency owner, bring someone in who has been agency owner in the past, right? And is just kind of tired of it and doing things on their own. Ways to source, post in your communities, post in other agency groups if you're an agency owner, and connect with people in paid communities and masterminds you're in, right? Make sense? Cool. Last but not least here, when we're talking about scaling past builder phase, and I'll get to your question in a second, Will, for the full-time setter closer, what you're looking for is somebody who's hungry, relentless, and money driven. The big thing here is money driven. We want somebody who's not like burnt out and just kind of wants to live the lifestyle, laptop lifestyle here. These people are the lifeblood of your business, generating revenue, right? So we want them to be money driven and money hungry right now, right? Hire somebody who's been doing setting for 2 to 3 years that is looking to scale with the company and eventually move to a closer role. So this would be really nice. This is ideal. Somebody who's been doing it for 2 to 3 years, but if they've been through a setting program before, they've been doing it for 6 months to a year, then that's ideal as well. Ideal locations. Some people say do it internationally and go to Venezuela or the Philippines for setters. I say don't fucking do that, because they will lose so much more deals than they will gain. And when people are interacting with other people as you or something like that in Messenger or wherever it is, and they piss somebody off, then it will tarnish your reputation, right? They will screw up, and that will happen from time to time, but it's much more likely if you go international with this hire, right? Average pay for starting setter closer is $1,000 to $1,500 base plus 3 to 5% of closed sets. So if they book in a call for you, you close it, then you pay 3 to 5% of that, right? Sourcing, as stated before, referrals are the best, but you can also post, email, all of that stuff on your socials as well. And there's so many other things that come to hiring, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself with all the hiring stuff until you're above 50K to 100K per month. So I just want to put in the basics in there for you. So cool. Do you guys feel more clear? You guys feel like you learned something today? Okay, awesome. So that's been the 7-figure team workshop. So to go over everything again, we talked about the 3 levels of scaling: make yourself rich, make your clients rich, make your team rich. We talked about the 5 different phases of business going from 0 to 300K per month, the ideal profit margins as well. We talked about the hiring order to retain those profit margins, and we talked about who to hire, when to hire, all of that good stuff. We also covered the value chain, which was really awesome. Thanks for being here for that, and the workflow of what the value chain might look like. So sweet. So we have about 9 minutes here. Would love for you guys to share your number 1 takeaways from this. And then we have some questions here as well. What does the delivery person do? Did I answer that question for you? Okay, awesome. And Will, did you have a question?
Yeah. So, Andrew, in my case, I had really bad experiences hiring people. Um, I mean, of course, I tried not to hire people from third world countries. But since I'm not, of course, in America or I'm not myself in a first world country, it's really hard to just delegate things to other person. I mean, for example, I hire a setter, but I thought I needed a setter, and what I needed was an assistant. And I just tried to get everything, but they were money driven, but for their own benefit. It's not like they don't have the vision for the business. So they only had a vision for themselves. So I think probably that's my fault in my case because I didn't provide with a clear, inspiring vision. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And starting out, it's just a lot of fucking hard work, and we got to take care of our energy and take care of our mindset and all of that so we can put the actual work in. I'm so grateful when I got started. 90 days before I got started as an entrepreneur, I set a goal to lose 20 pounds and to quit drinking. And I ended up doing that. And that gave me a lot of energy, a lot of momentum to put into business. And in the first year in coaching, I made over $500,000 at 90% profit because I didn't know how to hire and I burnt myself out. But I'm giving you guys the roadmap from here so you guys don't need to burn yourself out. But the first part is you got to work really hard. And to inspire other people, we've got to do things that are inspiring. And when we do that, then it's so much easier to lead and all of that stuff. And also, it's not your fault. Like hiring and retaining talent is the hardest thing to do in business because if everybody could do it and use all of that leverage, then everybody would have a huge freaking business. And it's difficult and it's a skill set we've got to learn and we've got to take the punches with that stuff. But over if we can really dial in the way that we influence and persuade and lead others within our organism being our company, then that is the ultimate form of leverage. So cool, awesome, sweet, awesome. I'm hoping I get to go to the Business Mastery in Miami. Yes. So we have that event March 8th through 10th, Business Mastery Live in Miami. We're having people like Eli Wild, Tony Robbins' #1 salesperson, speak there. He's sold over 9 figures from stage. We have Nick Robbins coming, and he just built another 7-figure business in 2 months. He's going to be speaking there. We have Dakota Londhair, who's the master at Go High Level and optimizations and systems. And it should be about 30 to 40 people that are going to be there. We have about 6 tickets left. So if you guys want to be a part of that, that's an option. And also on these calls, about 95% of people don't actually take the information and put it into action. And if you guys want to book in a call to build out a roadmap together, and if you guys want to use that roadmap with us and build a 7-figure company, then we can do that together. If not, you can take that roadmap and use it on your own. But I will put the link down there for that opportunity. So you can have a little bit more accountability and mentorship as well. So if you want to book in those calls, there are limited spots available for me and my buddy Larry. And you can click right there to book one of those calls in as well. So how much do the tickets cost? So right now they're $2,000, but I have a discount code for you guys. So if you want that discount code for $1,000 off, put a 1 in the chat if you're thinking about it, and I'll shoot you over the link and the discount code for the event ticket. Cool. Renee, I'll shoot it over to you. And also you guys will ROI at the event. I'm sharing some strategies. If you guys just have a refined offer, you have an offer already, I'm going to share with you guys strategies to ROI at that event immediately. So if you guys want the link and you want the discount code, put the 1 down there. So Renee, you're awesome. I'll reach out to you with that. And we have 6 spots left for that. Cool. So I love the takeaways. Awesome. Awesome. Sweet. Awesome. And then boom. Did everybody get this document? Boom. I'll put it in the chat again for you all. Boom. To snag that. And inside of the community here, all the workshops will be uploaded to the workshops category. So you'll be seeing this in the next 24 hours with a replay in there. And also these are a weekly thing. So if you haven't gotten them on your calendars yet, just hit this and that will take you to the calendar for you to save these calls on a weekly basis. And we're going to bring in some other experts to do more of these workshops together. So sweet. I'd love to hear from you guys on the scale from 1 to 10. How much value did you get out of this call today? Put it in the chat. Renee, 10. Love it. Heather, 11 out of 10. That's impossible, but I love it. Michael, 9. That's cool. There's room for growth. Awesome. Will, 10. Chad, 100. Love it. Or fat thumbs. And you added one more. Cool. Sweet. Only because I went to the restroom. Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, the brothers are hopping on right now for their call starting at 12. But make sure you add these to your calendar and I'll see more of your face. And also, the 7-figure courses are in there. Go check those out. They're step-by-step, they're checklists, all of that good stuff in there. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. See you guys later.